Welcome dear students and all the viewers who are watching this 10th lecture on Python programming, and today I will be discussing the solution of quiz 3 on Python functions, which I had shared yesterday with you all. And so let's discuss. There were I think 6 to 7 questions, and this quiz was carrying 15 points. So some of you have done very well, and I will come to that later, but let's discuss the quiz first. So this was the first question, and it was asking you, so this quiz was basically based on the concept of object reusability, then mutable and immutable variables, then scope of variable, LEGB rule, okay, which we had seen in the previous few lectures. So let's discuss this first one. I have written this program over here, the same program which was in question 1, and this program is basically based on the concept of object reusability. And you know very well now that all the fundamental data types except complex numbers support object reusability. Tuples and all the mutable data types do not support object reusability. That we have already seen. We have done so many questions based on this. So by now I hope it is clear to you. So let's see this program, and here you can see that a and b are integers, and both of them are pointing to different integer values. Both these a and b reference variables are pointing to different integer values. See here, c and d are lists, okay, and they are lists of tuples. Basically their contents are tuples. They both are holding same values, okay. So the content of c and the content of d are same, and they both are lists of tuples. Now the question was that what will be the output of a is b. So you know that a is b will be false, because they both will be pointing to this. A is storing different value, b is storing different value, so they both will be pointing to different objects, and hence it will be false. Okay, so now let's come to c is d, and this c is d will again be false, because you know that lists do not support object reusability. So if c and d were to support object reusability, then their addresses must have been same, but you know that lists do not support reusability, meaning by that even though two variables are storing same values, they will be pointing to different objects, okay. So this will be false. Again, coming to c0 is d0 or not. So c0 means 1 2 and d0 means 1 2, okay. So both c0 and d0 are 1 2, but these c0 and d0, their addresses will not be same, because it is a tuple, and tuples do not support object reusability. So these 1 2 and these 1 2, these two will be two different objects even though the values are same. So again this will be false. Now coming to c00, c0 means first means 1 2, and now c00 means this value 1, okay. So c00, let me write it here first. So c00 is nothing but c00 is your 1, and again d00 is also equal to 1, okay. So now both these two are integers, and you know that the integers support concept of object reusability, okay. So both c00 and d00 are 1, and you know that since c00 is an integer, d00 is also an integer, and they both are holding the same value 1, and you know that integers support object reusability, so the output of this must be equal to true. So this is the expected output for this particular program, and I hope you got how I executed it line by line. This is entirely based upon the concept of object reusability. Since c0 refers to a tuple and d0 also refers to a tuple, both of them are equal to the value 1 2 in the form of a tuple, but you know that tuple objects do not support object reusability, okay. So these two will be pointing to different objects, okay, hence their value is false. Whereas when it comes to c00, which is actually equal to 1, and d00, which is also equal to 1, so they both will be pointing to the same object, because integers support object reusability, and hence this will be equal to true. So let's run this and see what output it gives, and you can see on the screen that the expected output is same as the obtained output, okay. So this is the output. So according to this particular thing, our output, the correct output will be the second one, which is false true, okay. So I am actually in editing mode. So let me run this in end user mode, okay. So let me run this in end user mode first, and then we will do this, okay. So let me run it here. So the second question, okay, so let's first attempt this and then we will move on to second question. Okay, so the question orders might have been shuffled. Okay, so let me first put a dummy email address abc@gmail.com. Okay, and yeah, this was the question. So output of this will be false, false, false and true, as you just saw here. So the output of this was false, false, false and true. So the correct option must be the B. Okay, let's come to the first question. Actually, I have reshuffled the questions. Whenever you whenever you will attempt this quiz, the questions will be randomly shuffled. Okay, that's why it got reshuffled. The first question came at the third position, so need not to worry about that. Okay, anyway, so let's see this question. DEF fun 1 A equal to 30 and DEF fun 2, and then we are printing the value of A. Okay, so I had discussed a similar program in the previous lecture, and I told you that the execution will be first. Okay, so I have written this program also. Let me see here where it is. And okay, so this is your program. This is the same program, and those the execution will be first. This will be executed, then the control will come here, then the function will be called, and now the control will again go here. It will come A equal to 30, and then it will check this header, and then again it will call this function fun2. And now when this function fun2 is called, then there is a statement called print A. Now which I had told you about LEGB rule. So this question is basically based upon LEGB rule. Okay, and I had told you about LEGB rule in the last class, that first A will be looked in the local environment, but there is no A in the local environment of fun2, so it will look it in its enclosing environment, and in the enclosing environment, as you can see, that the value of A is present and which is equal to 30. So the output of this particular program will be 30. Okay, so this must be 30, and I hope you got the concept that it is resolved based on the LEGB rule. Now let's come to the third question, and this question was again based on the use of global keyword, and I hope you remember the concept of global keyword, that it was used to modify a global variable inside the function. Okay, so let's see this program here, and I guess this is the same program. Yeah, so now we have to find its output. I had told you that again. Let's see the order of execution. First this will be executed, control will come here, the value of A that will be printed will be equal to 20. So the output first will be 20. Now let's see, the function is being called. So as soon as it is called, control will go to the first header, and then it will go to the second line, which is global A. So that means that you are not going to create a local variable named A. Instead you are trying to access this global variable which is equal to 20. So no local variable will be created in this case. If you are not getting it, then you just view the previous lecture once again. I had told you that as soon as you declare A with this global keyword, that means you are not going to create any A in this local environment. Instead the A present in the global environment will be accessed. Okay, so now you are accessing this A which is present in the global environment, and you are changing its value to 30. Okay, so now you are changing it to 30, and if you print it, so the value that will be printed is 30. Okay, so now it is printed 30. Now the control will come out of this function fun1, and the local environment of fun1 will be destroyed. Okay, that I had told you in the last class, and the control will come at this line. Now the very important part, that will the value of A get changed to 30 or not? Definitely it will get changed to 30, because this function fun1 has modified the global A and not the local A. There was no local A in fun1, and it has actually modified this global A. Okay, so this was your global variable, and this has been actually modified by this function fun1, and hence if you come out of this function, then also this print A will give you the modified value of A which is equal to 30. So the output of this program must be 20, 30 and 30. So let's run this, and you can see on the screen the output 20, 30 and 30. Okay, so let's click select the output, and this will be 20, 30 and 30. That is the fourth option. Okay, now this we have already attempted. Then coming to this question. Now again, a very important question. All these questions were very carefully designed, keeping in mind all those previous concepts, so you had to attempt all of them very carefully. Now let's look at this question again one of the most important questions. Okay, so let's come to this. I have written it here, Yeah, so this one is the question. Okay, now this is asking that what happens if you print the ID of A inside and what happens if you print the ID of A outside. Now you know that ID of A basically prints the address of the object or the address of the reference variable. Okay, so now what will happen, actually I had told you in the last class about the creation of local and global environment. So as soon as, okay, so let me show the creation of environment for this particular situation. So let's write this program here, and okay, so this is your line 1. Let me do the line numbering here. Okay, even if you do not do line numbering, that's perfectly fine. You understand its order of execution. Okay, so as soon as this line gets executed, A equal to 20, okay, so a global environment will get created, and inside this global environment the variable that will be generated is A, and its value will be equal to 20. So A will be equal to 20, that will be generated inside the global environment. Now if you print the ID of A, this will give you some value that is dependent upon the system completely. Okay, that is not the thing to worry right now. What may bother you, that when this function is getting called, this fun1 is being called, so the control will come at this line and then a new variable. Now the very important question, that this is not the global A. If you had declared, if you had first written global A, then no local variable would have been created. Okay, if you had written global A in the beginning, then this A would have been accessed, but here you have written A equal to 20. That means you are not going to access the global A, you are going to create a in the local environment of function fun1. Okay, so as soon as the control will come here, a local environment will get created, and this local environment will look something like this. Okay, so let me denote it in some different color, and inside this a different variable will be generated, a different variable A will be generated, and its value will be equal to 20. Now the very important question, that will this A, will listen very carefully, that this A out here in the local environment and this A out here in the global environment, although they are different, they are different, these are different variables, but will they be pointing to same object? Definitely they will be pointing to same object. Again, the concept of object reusability will hold true. So listen very carefully, that although this A out here and this A out here are different variables, but they will be pointing to the same object which is having value equal to 20. So the situation must be something like this, that they both will be pointing to the object containing value equal to 20. So they are different reference variables, and this A out here will also be pointing to this, and this A in the global environment will be pointing to this, and this A out here in the local environment will also be pointing to this value 20, because integers support object reusability. So if you check their addresses, if you check the address of A in the local environment and if you check the address of A in the global environment, then they both will be same. Okay, so I hope you got the concept. I hope you got this creation of local and global environment in this particular situation. So whatever may be the ID, but they both will be the same. So let's run this and you can see. Okay, so let me first close it and rerun it. You can see that both the IDs are same. Okay, even if you print the address of A inside the function or outside the function, they both will be same, because integers support concept of object reusability. Since both the values of A were same, they will be pointing, their addresses will be same. So again, I will come to this again in the next lecture, which will be based on passing mutable and immutable variables to the functions. In that it will become more clear. So need not worry at this point, but I hope if you understand the concept of object reusability and mutable and immutable variables, then this should not be much difficult for you. And I hope you understand why these two addresses are same, even though you are creating two environments, local and global environment, and one A is inside the local environment and one A is in the global environment. But since they are both are integer types and they both are holding the same value equal to 20, so they both must be pointing to the same object holding value equal to 20. So that's the concept, and hence these two addresses are same, as you can see in this sample run. Okay, so here I had taken a random address, and they both must be same. They both must be same. They cannot be different. So if one is 2151, then another must also be 2151. Now this was very similar to this previous question that we just discussed, and here you can see that this A and this A, there will be two A, one in local environment and one in the global environment. Okay, so let's see this program also. And this is based on again object reusability, and so here you can see that this one A will be created in the local environment and this A will be created in the global environment, but they both must be pointing to different objects. Okay, they both, because lists do not support the concept of object reusability. So this A out here and this A in the global environment and this A out here in the local environment, they will be pointing to different objects having value equal to 20, 30, since lists do not support the concept of object reusability. So if you ask me to draw its environment, so it will be something like this. Okay, it will be something like this. This will be an object holding value equal to 20, 30, and this A in the local environment, this must be pointing to a different 20, 30. Okay, so even though these two values are same, they will be pointing to different 20, 30. I'm not able to drag it. Okay, anyway, let me show this here, not an issue. Okay, so this is A out here in the global environment, this one, and this is the A in the local environment, and they both are pointing to the different 20, 30 different lists. Okay, so that's the idea. Here you will have, now this program is changed, you have, instead of 20, now you have 20, 30. Okay, so the concept of object reusability still holds true. So this question was basically based on the creation of local and global environment, and it was also based on the concept of object reusability. Okay, so I hope this concept is clear to you, and since so in this case there must be different addresses, so this option will be true. Now again, this question was based on the global keyword, and just now I told, so let's see this question here. I guess I have written it. Okay, I have not written. Yeah, I have written it. So A equal to 30. Now let's erase this one, and A equal to 20. I'm not going to print them. I'm just asking you that whether in this case different one A in global environment will be created and one A in local environment will be created or not. So I'm just asking this question. Just now I told you that since we have written here global A, that means no local A is going to be created, both this A out here and this A out here. So there is no A in the local environment. There is nothing in fact in the local environment of function fun1, and here this will be actually referring to this A out here and this A out here, they both are referring to the same A in the global environment. So in this particular case also a single variable named A will be created in global environment. So option number 2 will be correct. Okay, no A in the local environment will be created. I hope it is clear to you. But in this case, you just see this question. In this particular case, you have A equal to 20 and here also A equal to 20. There is no use of global keyword. Okay, there is no use of global keyword. That means they both there are two variables are going to be created, one in the local environment and one in the global environment. Okay, so here two variables named A will be created, one in local environment and another in global environment. It is another thing that they both will be pointing to the same object holding value equal to 20 because of the concept of object reusability. But in this particular case, two variables will be created. I hope I had discussed this concept also in the last class also, so you can revisit that part once again. Okay, let's come to this question, and this is again based on function calls. Okay, so let me come to this particular question. I have written it somewhere. Yeah, so now let's see, this is based on the concept of LEGB rule. Okay, and here you can see that as soon as this function fun1 is called, here it will go, then here, and then it will come to fun2. So as soon as the function fun2 is called, here the value of a is equal to 70. Okay, so let's see the creation of environment for this particular question, and then this concept will be more clear to you. Okay, so let me erase this and let me rewrite all these things once again and show it to you how the environment gets created for this particular question. Okay, so this was your question. Okay, so first this line will be executed, a equal to 20, then the control will go here. Okay, first this address will be checked, here this df11, then control will go here, then function fun will be called. Okay, as soon as the function fun1 is called, the control will go here, b equal to 30, then the header will be checked, and then the control will come here. This function will be not executed until it is called at this particular point. As soon as it is called at this point, you can see that the control will come here, that is a equal to 70. And okay, so let's see the creation of environment for this particular question. And the creation of environment will be something like this. First, a equal to 20 will be created in the global environment because of this particular line. Okay, as soon as the control come here, this a local environment for fun1 will get created. Okay, so let me draw it a bit bigger. So okay, so let me change its color to blue, and I think if blue is not visible, let me change it to green. Okay, so olive green, and here you can see that this is the local environment for fun2. Okay, so this is fun1, this is local environment for fun1, and as soon as this is called def fun1, so this local environment will get created, and inside this a variable b equal to 30 will be created. Okay, now let's come to this part. So when this function fun2 will be called, then another environment, listen very carefully, another environment for fun2 will be created, and it will actually be inside fun1. Okay, so let me write it here also, that this is your local environment for fun1. Okay, and inside this a local environment for fun2 will be created. So let me insert a local environment out here, and this will be inside this one, and let me change its color to a different color. Okay, so now this is your local environment for this, the one shown in orange color. This is the local environment for fun2. Okay, and inside this fun2, as soon as this statement is executed, a equal to 70, so this a variable will be created. Okay, and its value will be equal to 70. So I hope you got this concept, that okay, so I will repeat it once again. First this line is executed, as soon as it is executed, a global environment is created, and this a equal to 20 is created. Now this function fun1 is called, control goes here. Okay, and b equal to 30. Okay, so b equal to a local environment for fun1 is created, and inside this local environment b equal to 30 is created. Now the control comes at this line fun2, and as soon as this function is called, a local environment for fun2 is created, which is shown in orange color, and inside this local environment a is equal to 70 will be created. And if you print the value of a, so definitely this is going to use this value of, if you are trying to print the value of a out here, then the locally available value will be used, and so the output will be 70. I had told you that the LEGB rule will be used since you are trying to print the value of a inside this fun2. Okay, so the value 70 will be printed because the locally available value will always be chosen first. Okay, now as soon as this print a is executed, so the output will be 70. So the output of this particular thing will be 70. Now as you can see that after the execution of this program, the control comes out of this function fun2 loop. Okay, so as soon as the control comes out of this function fun2, this local environment will get destroyed. And now you know why, because you know that the local environment gets destroyed as soon as the control comes out of that particular function. Now again you are printing the value of a out here. Okay, and this time which a will be used? Now you are inside the local environment of function fun1 right now, and you are trying to print the value of a, but there is no a out here, there is no a in the local environment of fun1. Now, so which one will be used? The enclosing one should be used, but there is no enclosing environment for fun1. Okay, as you can see that there is no enclosing environment for fun1. So now it will be the global one will be accessed, and the global one, so the global means this particular A will be accessed, that is this particular global value will be accessed. Okay, because there is no local A, there is no enclosing A, so the global A will be accessed, and the value that will be printed for A will be equal to 20. Okay, so I hope you got the execution order for this particular function. So let me just draw it once again, and you can see that this local environment got destroyed, although the value of A was available. But as soon as the control came out of this function fun2, this local environment got destroyed. Okay, this local environment got destroyed, and so when you printed the value of A, there is no A in the local environment of fun1, and so it will see the enclosing environment, but there is no enclosing environment for fun1. Okay, so it will next look in the global environment. In the global environment, there is a variable A available whose value is equal to 20. So this 20 will be printed out here. Okay, after this, as you know, so the control will come out of this function fun1, and so this local environment for fun1 will also get destroyed. Okay, so this local environment for fun1 will get destroyed. The control will come here. The control will, now there is nothing to execute. Okay, there is nothing to execute, so this will also get erased from the memory. So this global environment will also get erased from the memory. Okay, so the output of this program will be 70 and 20. Okay, so here this A will be actually accessing this global A. Okay, this A will be actually accessing the global A. So if you are able to draw the global and local environments, then you won't make mistake and you will be able to attempt the question correctly. Okay, so let me run this and see what output it gives, and you can see that it is giving 70 and 20, and wow, and why. Okay, so the next question was regarding the global keyword, and it was asking whether it is necessary to use a global keyword for modifying a global variable inside function. And now you are well aware of this fact that global keyword is must for modifying a global variable inside function. You already saw an example for this, but we will see it again. And here you can see that the value for A was 20, and you had used global A for modifying the value of global variable A to 30. Okay, so the global variable is must for, listen it very carefully, that it is always required for if you want to modify the value of global variable. Okay, so in this case the value of global variable A was 20 and you want to modify it to 30. Okay, so this global keyword is required. Okay, it is necessary. So let's run this, and what you will find that here it will first print 30, and then after coming out of this function execution also the output will be 30, because the value of A has been now modified from 20 to 30 because we had used this global keyword. Okay, so let's run this, and you can see that the output is, okay, let me rerun this, and the output is 30 and 30. So why it happened, you were able to change the value of the global variable? Because inside the function you had accessed this particular global variable by making use of this global keyword. Okay, so the output of this will be that it is necessary to modify a global variable inside function, and this is perfectly fine. But how about this statement? Is it necessary to use a global keyword for accessing a global variable inside function? No, it is not required. Okay, for example, in this case, for example, this value was the value of global variable A was 20. If you want to access this particular value inside this function one, will it happen? Will it allow? Yes, definitely it will allow, because you know the LEGB rule. The function will look in the local environment. There is no A inside this local environment of fun1, so it will go for enclosing environment. Okay, and there is no enclosing environment for function fun1, so it will go to the global environment, and in the global environment it will find the value of A, which is equal to 20, and it will print it. Okay, so even if you do not use the global keyword, the Python interpreter will apply the LEGB rule and reach to this particular global variable. So there is no need of global keyword if you just want to access the value of global variable inside the function. Okay, so in this case it is perfectly fine, and you can see the output is 20 and 20. You are not doing any modification in the value of global variable, so there won't be any problem with this, and you can easily access the global variable inside this function fun1. Okay, So it is not necessary to access a global variable using the global keyword. So this is false. Okay, it is not necessary. If you want, you can use it. If you don't want, you can skip it. In fact, in most of the cases, you will skip it if you do not want to modify the value of global variable. Okay, so let me submit the quiz and see how much score I have got. And you can see that it is 15 out of 15. Okay, so all the questions, all the logic that we discussed was perfectly fine. It was perfectly correct. So that's it for today. In the next class, as promised, I will definitely tell you about passing mutable and immutable objects to the Python functions, and that will conclude basics of Python. And we will move to a different topic, not a different topic, it's actually related to function, and that will be your recursive functions. So we will see about what do you mean by recursive function calls. So after the next lecture, our next topic will be recursive function. But before that, I will give you a final quiz which will be based on all the topics that we will be discussing till lecture 11. Okay, so keep revising. If you have not attempted the previous quizzes, do not watch this lecture. You first attempt the quiz and then see what is the solution for it, and then you will be able to get the points. You will be able to know where you are making mistakes. Okay, so just pay attention to it. Okay, and one more problem that I have found in the solutions that you have provided to me, that when you are returning multiple values, what you are actually doing is that you are not only returning the value a, what you are writing is that value of a. For example, if you have to return this a equal to 20, what you are writing is value of a is, okay, and then you are writing a. Okay, so do not return in this manner. Okay, if you have to print that the value of a is 20, okay, so you just return the value a. Okay, do not return this entire statement. If you return like this, what will happen? Let me show you. Okay, so if you write fun1, so what will be the output of this? In fact, this is returning something, so you will write print statement. Okay, and what will be the output? It will actually be a tuple. Okay, now you are returning two values. You can see here you are returning two values. One is your string and one is your integer. Okay, and that will be returned in the form of a tuple. So the output will be something like this: value of a is, and then this will be your first value that we are returning. Okay, and the second value that we will be returning is 20. Okay, so the output will be something like this, but this is not actually you want. Okay, so let me run this and you can see that the output is what I actually wrote here. Okay, so the value of a is 20, but you do not want to print like this. Do you print like this when I ask you to print the value of a? Definitely no. So what you will return? You will only return this value of a. And why it is returning in the form of a tuple? Because you are returning two values. One is your string and one is your integer. Okay, but do not return like this. You just return a single value like this. Okay, and outside the function, if you want, you can store this value a in some variable, suppose t. Okay, so you just call this function and you will get the value of a inside this variable t, and now you print like this: print, okay, value of a is, and then you can print the value t. So that is the way to do it. You do not write the entire string that you are going to write in the print statement. Okay, do not return everything. You just return the value, and then outside the function call you write the correct print statement. You write the comment that you write to that you want to write before the value that you are printing. Okay, for example, here before printing the value t, you actually wanted to write value of a is. Okay, so this comment must be written outside the function call, outside the function definition, not inside the function definition. I hope you got my point what I am trying to say. You just return this value a, okay, and then you use it outside the function call. Do not return this entire thing. You are actually returning this particular thing, which is not correct way to do it, and now you know why. Okay, so let's run this, and now you can see that this is correct output. This is well formatted output. So this is the correct way to print a output of your program. So I hope you got the concept. I will keep reminding you of your mistakes in the coming lectures as soon as you provide me the solutions. If you are not able to submit the solutions through the quiz forum, you can always mail me for the question number 1. This is the output. If you are facing any problem, let me know. If you are facing any difficulty, but definitely you should try to attempt all the quizzes, attempt all the questions that I am giving to you. Otherwise there will be no meaning of it. All my efforts will go in vain. Okay, so Just keep up your pace with me, keep attempting all the quiz, and try writing